Hey guys, welcome to the next part of my Arkham Knight Glitchless tutorial. So, if you recall, we just got to Scarecrow. Scarecrow escaped, ripped out the front of this blimp. So we're gonna get this dialogue. We skip through it. He tells us basically that Oracle is at that safe house that we fought those guys in. So grapple here, cancel, fly on over to this marker. I actually like to do a second cancel. See where this militia shield is around there. Grapple, cancel, and then we have a hole from when we did our second fight in the game. So I just dropped through the hole right into the cutscene. So basically the hole that's there depends on which window you broke. I broke the left one, so I was sure to drop in through the left side. But if you broke the right one, try to drop in through that side. So now this is a cutscene where you see Oracle died. You can't skip this. It's one of the longer cutscenes in the game.
Stag's files have revealed what the cloudburst does. It's a dispersal device. Sir, don't you see? Scarecrow has the means to engulf the entire city in fear toxin. You stopped him from making it operational, but it's only a matter of time. Sir, did you hear me?
So when I'm at this cutscene, I like to look this way, and I start mashing grapple sort of towards the end of it. That way I grapple to the through that window up at the top, and I do a boost out. So I'll show you the movement that I do to get to GCPD. So after this cutscene, we need to get to GCPD to pick up Ivy.
Oh no.
Sir?
Alfred, run a satellite scan of the city. Let me know the instant you locate the cloudburst.
Of course, Sam.
So,
where are you going?
start mashing.
GCPD. Ivy was immune to Scarecrow's toxin.
You think she will help?
She doesn't have a choice.
Grapple boost out. Then I grapple onto this green thing here and cancel. Then I grapple onto this thing here and then you cancel. And then this should give you enough speed to get to GCPD.
It's about what you became in that room. The hero.
So we fly on over again. We land on the street and then call the Batmobile while running into the GCPD. So when you're driving, you can actually accelerate through this to save a tiny bit of time. I don't always do it. I forget sometimes. Exit the Batmobile. Then I use the line launcher in order to get on over to this door. You can hold forward and space to roll out of it.
Good to see you back.
Then yeah, so we go to Ivy, which is marked by that marker over there. When we get to this door, what we're gonna do is we're gonna hold forward and mash space to dive through the metal detector. And then it triggers this cutscene with Cash that we skip. So then we go to Ivy.
I need your help.
From where I'm standing.
Skip that, then skip this. So now we exit, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna find our first Cobra tank. So for this first Cobra tank, you have to scan it. The trick to scanning it's kind of hard. It's a little bit weird to scan it. I don't get it right a lot of the time as well.
The tank. I'll need to scan its hull.
So you can so I grapple cancel, and you can actually get right next to the tank and scan it. So it scanned the rear, even though I was on the left. That happens when you're scanning the sides. You actually want to keep the entire tank in view. Otherwise, it won't scan properly.
The Cobra drone has enough firepower to grip the
so after you do that, typically you would go back to the Batmobile, but it's actually a little bit faster to go behind this side. So there are two reasons to go behind this side. One is that the Cobra won't see you behind this side. Sometimes it turns that corner over there. And second, you can remote control the Batmobile, and you don't have to wait for the Batmobile to get out of the garage. So we take out that Cobra.
We know what caliber
So now what we need to do is go to the clock tower. If you don't know where the clock tower is, you can just make a make a marker here. But we want to get to the clock tower kind of immediately, and we want to get we want to get under here. Skip the dialogue, and then we get our tank upgrade. So our tank upgrade is the CPU virus.
The drone virus overrides the tracker foe identification system.
So now we want to go to Miyagani Island. So the way I get there, so let's just set a map marker to Miyagani Island. We basically want to get to about here, and as you recall, where we start out in here. So this thing recommends you go right. You can go right. You can also go left. It doesn't matter that much. I like to go left, then go through this thing. So for these Cobras, right now, if we look at our upgrades, we have 5 upgrade points. So that's actually perfect for getting 2 upgrades that we need. So one is going to be the reload speed, and second is going to be the Cobra lure. So the Cobra lure is very helpful in these Cobra battles. I highly recommend getting it if you can. So I'm going to so these Cobras are a bit annoying in general. I'll show you kind of roughly how these Cobras work. So
Thanks, Alfred.
Cobras will just drive in like they spawn in a certain way. They drive in a certain location. When you shoot a Cobra, the Cobras around it will either do nothing, or they'll go to the location of where the Cobra you destroyed is. When they're going to that location, like, you can't really lure the Cobra at all. So this Cobra is going to the location. Now it saw that I wasn't there, so now you can lure these Cobras to wherever you want. So I lure them by just shooting. You can use the missile barrage to destroy Cobras. It's very useful. So now we have this Cobra. It's going to try to see if I'm where I destroyed the Cobra. I'm not. So now he saw that. So now what you can do is use the Cobra lure to have him face the other direction, and then you can destroy him. So that's kind of how you do Cobra battles, at least this one. There are going to be other Cobra battles in this game that you use the drone virus for. For this Cobra specifically, it's not really worth using the drone virus. It's a little slower to do that. It's better to just get behind them and shoot them and use your missile barrage if you have to. So then we need to get to this objective. Just follow the arrows to get there. That's the easiest. So Batman's going to get out. We're going to skip through the cutscene. So here, start skipping only after he says Lucius, because I've had plenty of times where I skip too early, and then it actually plays the whole dialogue animation, which is really slow and wastes a lot of time. So now we want to enter our car. You can enter the Batmobile the normal way, but if you do, you have to have there's like a Joker cutscene that takes a bit. It takes like 10 seconds. So instead what you do is you remote control the car, and if you remote control the car, you can get in the car without triggering that Joker cutscene. So now we want to go to Wayne Tower. If you don't know where Wayne Tower is, then just select this objective, but you don't have to select this objective. I'll just select it.
Alfred, I'm heading to Wayne Tower parking garage. Let's see what.
So the way I get there is you can just follow the arrows when you're starting out. There's like some additional route optimizations you could do with this.
Back up! He's gonna get us! No chance!
Lucius, open the parking lot entrance.
So we're gonna go to Wayne Tower.
I thought you were here already, Mr. Wayne. Must be a glitch.
We will then get our, basically we were trying to get our, another tank upgrade, which this time it's basically the thing that lets us scan for plants deep down, the sonar.
Perimeter's been breached. We have
So now we do this tank battle. It's not really, it's not that bad. Use your weapons generator if you can. It's a little bit claustrophobic in here, so the weapons generator can sometimes not actually hit the tanks you want to hit, which is a little annoying, but like, you deal with what you have. So.
I've lost the drone.
And then at the end of this tank battle, I try to have at least my weapons generator charged up. If you don't, that's fine, but it'll help down the line to have your weapons generator charged up at this point, or at the end of this fight. And it will see later why that's the case. So I have at least one of my weapons generator charged up to have 4 of them.
That appears to be the last of them, Mr.
So now we get our upgrade. So there are a couple routes to get to the place where you scan use the sonar. So what I like to do is I actually like to go to the right. It's a little bit slower to go this way, but there are going to be tanks in your way, and if you accidentally aggravate a tank, here the tanks are actually all on the way, so you just destroy them. And while you're in tank mode, just do a scan. If you do a scan, then when you get to the actual alley where you set the plant free, you don't have to scan twice. So now here, because we scanned earlier, we can do this second scan, where you hold it. So skip this cutscene. You have this fight here. I like to use a smoke pellet on hard. On easy, because you have the one-hit KO, you don't need to. And yeah, do a fear takedown. Yeah, just do this fight the way you would normally. So this is on hard. On easy, you would get a lot of one-hit KOs if you didn't restart. So now we've done this fight. We go to Panessa. So I like to grapple boost off of this, then grapple cancel off this railing a few times. If you don't know where Panessa is, just again select the marker on your map,
Alfred,
and it'll show you, and just fly towards that
Arkham Knight
marker.
It's time we took the fight to them.
Very well, Sam. The lion's den awaits.
I grapple off this thing here, then I grapple off this thing here, and then for this last part I do a grapple boost off of here, just because the actual boost is fast enough to get us to this door. Oops. You don't want to do that, but it's not a big deal if you do that.
Open.
So we go in.
What a lucky boy. She is so...
So we're gonna visit Robin. But before we visit Robin, there is this freeze grenade on the table. I like to get it. It takes a few seconds to get it, but it's going to be very helpful, especially on hard down the line. So I just get it.
Works.
So yeah, it's worth getting this because it makes a lot of things easier and faster. So use the back computer. Now we have to go to Founders Island and glide to this drone. It's important that you generally you'd rather line launch instead of running, but unfortunately, if you line launch, you can only line launch like to here, which is a little bit okay. But I just run.
I thought for sure you were going to tell him. Come clean like you did with
So now, as I mentioned before, you want to generally do as much movement as you can with the Batmobile. So I timed getting to this, and it's faster to just use the Batmobile. So I do a grapple boost off here, then call the Batmobile immediately,
Just concentrate on
Then,
taking out the Arkham Knight.
so what I do, if you look at the map, where we are is we're right here. We want to get to right here. This bridge over here is not lowered, so what we will do is we will basically drive to about here, and then launch out of the Batmobile and fly on over the rest of the way. So I'll just show you how I get there. So I just go this way. You can follow the arrows if you want. I like to drive through this gas station. Then I drive around the fire station because it lines me up between these two buildings, and then you launch out and go between these two buildings. Do some grapple cancels to maintain some speed, like off this gargoyle, for example.
Why'd we bring all these cities in on the op? That little guy, the Brit, wild cards, all of them.
And then glide onto this drone here. If you don't know where the drone is, use the marker. So we get this, we get this drone and update our remote hacking device to be able to hack drones. So
the relay chip will allow me to
I spam space right now. That's how you.
Enough time to take out the two radar
That's what it tells you to
towers.
do after you read the this upgrade that you have. Yeah. So now I hold right click and hack this drone. Switch to the explosive gel. So what I do is I glide out, do a little dive, and then grapple. That's how I like to do that. Then spray the explosive gel.
Who sets fire to a fire station? I don't know. Someone with a sense of humor.
So that's the first radar that we destroyed. So now we go to the second one. There's a marker for it if you don't know where it is. So what I do for this, there's some people you have to fight here. So what I do, so this happens only if you trigger Man-Bat. You shouldn't trigger Man-Bat in general. But yeah, if you trigger Man-Bat, then you waste time on this cutscene as well if you do the same thing. So if you look at this, there's a big guy, and then there's some ninjas. So what I like to do first is I use a smoke pellet and do the fear takedown, like I do a lot of other times. Then what I like to do immediately is freeze the big guy. So I kind of freezed him a few times. It gets him out of the way. Okay, I might die here. So now this is kind of important. So the optimal way of doing these guys is to beat them down a little up to like 10, and then throw freeze grenades at him and then punch him. That's a little bit faster than beating him down all the way, or especially it's also faster than using the combo takedown. So that's why I get the freeze blast, mainly for this for combat and for predators. So now we do this.
And it's me. I mean, you.
Then have to hack some sentries after this cutscene opens up.
And purify the Joker gene.
I can use the remote hacking device to temporarily blind the sentry gun.
So what I like to do is I like to basically follow this wire, go a little bit next to it, then get into corner cover, hack that, switch to the explosive gel. Now after you blow this up, don't walk forward or don't walk anywhere, just stay where you are. Skip this. Now you see that the sentry is not hacked anymore, so hack it again. If you were a little bit closer, when you pull out your hacking device, you're going to actually destroy the sentry, which takes longer. So that's why we stay standing in this place. So blind it, and then we're going to do the long-range missile launcher Predator. This Predator is tricky. It's not easy. So I'll just show you how I kind of do it. This was not good, but so silent takedown. This guy. Don't use detective vision too much because there's a guy with the detective mode detector. So I take this guy down afterwards. Do a silent takedown on him again, or another silent takedown on this guy. Then I like to go here. There are two guys here. You do a fear takedown on them. And then sometimes you're able to do a fear takedown on that guy. So then I grapple away immediately. So there are three guys left. So I basically, they're all going to go to where you did this fear takedown. Around there. So, okay, they lost him. So I like to basically throw a smoke pellet. Typically you'd have about three guys. Typically you'd have two or three guys in there, and then you can, whoops, and then take him down. Then freeze this guy, and then you can take down the other two. Freezing is very important in Predator rooms on hard. It basically gives you time to ignore one enemy and take them down after you take care of the other enemies. So now we're gonna get to our next Cobra fight. So if you recall from that previous tank battle we had, I made sure to charge my weapons generator. The reason why will become apparent immediately once this starts.
Alfred,
so
I need you to lower the
you're gonna start on this bridge. Cross this bridge, and then what I do is I go left into the cemetery. So go left. You go to the cemetery, and there's going to be a Cobra on our right here. If you go here, he's not going to see you. So now what I do is I like to drone hack this guy. It's going to aggravate some other tanks, and other tanks are going to come to it. But what's nice about this is that the other Cobras are going to get into a tank battle with this Cobra. And it'll basically, you're generally going to destroy at least two tanks. So two of them are coming. So I go to this one of them, especially, and destroy him. So if I didn't destroy him, that tank could have destroyed my hack tank. This hack tank is very good. So this hack tank in general is very good for kind of luring enemies to it. Unfortunately, the other tanks aren't lured yet, so I kind of have to go up here and take them out. So I'll just do that. And when you're doing this, make sure that you at least have 2 bars charged up by the end of this Cobra fight. So I don't know where this last Cobra is. Okay, there he is. Okay, so oops. Okay, if you're spotted, just escape. So this tank is gonna then come down. It should. Oh no, it's not. Oh, I think this. Okay. So just for this last one. And then nice thing is that once you destroy this, the hack tank that we have is also gonna blow up afterwards. So Cobra tank battles in general, the difference between easy and hard, the Cobras spot you faster in hard, and they shoot you faster. But when they actually do shoot you, they basically will kill you in 2 shots on all difficulties because we don't have any armor upgrades. So that's how you do how I like to do that Cobra. I like to hack one, and then it hopefully lures enough Cobras to that hacked one that you can then go behind those Cobras and destroy them.
Okay, I give up.
Where'd he go?
Okay, so now we're gonna do this Arkham Knight thing. So we're basically in the ceiling right here. We start out with a fear takedown. You want to be like right here, and then you can do a fear takedown. Do 3, take down 3 guys, and then you'll trigger this cutscene with the Arkham Knight.
Who are you? Not yet, Dark Knight.
So for this fight, the first thing I like to do, especially on hard, is to run on over to this big guy, and then electrocute him on this. Then do the rest of the fight normally without the big guy. Okay, so that's that fight. So now we're gonna destroy the missile launcher, and if you remember, we made sure that we had our weapons generator charged up before doing it. The reason why is we're going to use our weapons generator to destroy the missile launcher very quickly. So what you do is you pull this thing all the way up, and generally when you're doing ramps, or when I'm doing ramps, what I like to do is I like to do 2 boosts. You want to basically be accelerating while you're doing that, and then use your weapons generator on this. If you get hit, it doesn't really matter.
You think you can outwit me? You think I'm just like all
So
the
this
others?
is not really skippable.
Alfred, the Arkham Knight's
And
missile
then,
launcher is
so we'll,
destroyed.
now what it
I'm
is
calling
we
into
need to
that
go
one
to
start searching for the
Panessa.
cloud burst.
So so now we have I'll set the marker there,
Upload the
because
results to the Clocktower once it's complete.
because if you don't know where it is,
Okay, now we're done playing
basically
soldiers,
it's
let's
the
have some
clock tower
real fun.
over there.
We'll take
We need it. That's where we want to go.
You do a
So what I
little
do
bit
is
of
I
crime
grapple
scene
about right here,
investigating, some of
and then
Riddler's
cancel.
delightful scavenger hunt. Then I'll do
This
some
gives you a
runs
bit
in
of
the
speed.
Batmobile.
Then
I'll hand
you
control
can
of
these
your body
watchtowers
like
are
that
fine.
on
You
my
can ignore them. They might see you. So grapple on this crane and cancel. Then what I like to do is I like to do a small grapple boost over here. So enter the clock tower. And then basically you're going to get this. You can't run, like you can only walk. So just go here, interact. So yeah, and once you do this, you interact then with the display, and then there's probably one of the longest cutscenes in the run. And it's unskippable. So I stand here, mash space. Eventually, you'll be able to interact, and it'll all work. Yeah. So this is unskippable.
Alfred,
I
pull up the footage
will.
from the
I
Batwing's
think I'll end the
onboard
video
scanner.
here, and then I'll go over sort of everything going to Panessa after this. So thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you in the next video.
I will, of course, let you know when the